It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. I'm Stan Boingon. I'm with Zamanza Maza. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Babane. These are your top stories tonight. The Prime Minister says government has a plan to ensure that Eswatini continues to have enough electricity to attract investors beyond 2025 when the Eskom contract expires. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Education paid a visit to the people of Ngilongo in Nkundla, where they promised to build a high school and a primary school. Eswatini formed part of the world in commemorating the Wetlands Day under the theme Wetlands and Human Wellbeing. And again, and now for the news in detail. The Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini, says government has a plan to ensure that Eswatini continues to have enough electricity to attract investors beyond 2025 when the Eskom contract expires. The Prime Minister has said these when asked by the media on what's being done by government to ensure that Eswatini will continue to have enough electricity when the contract expires.
Asenediswa ngokulokhona manje ukuthi sitabana igesi sifuna kuba nawethu lesidi khichitela wona ungeneli nje ukuthi unele laba khona balamhlanje labasebenzisa gesi sifuna ukuthi unele lo gesi wenele nalaba nebakusasa labatafuna connecta uphindze futhi ukhone nokuthi wenele wenetise tinkampani letifuna ukuthi akuhlanyela titoqala umsebenzi nemkhulu siyathi ukuthi ngaphandle ukuthi sibena kwagesi tinkampani tingeteta takuthokodela kakhulu kutohlanyela la somloko lesiku hulumende lesithi akakusumele tulo akutina noma ngabe sesinaso siqiniseko lesithi gesi sitaqhubeka sibe naye eminyakeni lethu sifuna kuba newethu lesithatha ikhiqidela ngcineke nembuto walenkinga yaka master kwekuthi ngivile ngilandzela ukuthi kwentekeni siyathi ukuthi kuthiwa justice must not only be done but must also be seen to be done. So ke sine confidence kuyo i-justice system yethu sisatawuhlala phasi ke naye Minister of Justice ngithole umbiko logcwele ukuthi sisuke phi sikuphi nyaka emva kwaloko ke uhulumende utawube seke sokhokha ke iposition yakhe ukuthi kuphi kepha ke kwanyalo nje lengakusho ukuthi uhulumende ukubeka embili kusebenta tindzaba lechamuke esibayeni indzaba yaka master ichamuke esibayeni uhulumende ukubeka embili kulwa nenkhohlakalo lebuyisela live embili indzaba yenkhohlakalo nayo leyenda kakhona ka master netulu kwaletinye uhulumende uyibeka embili siyafisa ke ukuthi onke ama plans etingoni letahlukene tahulumende uhulumende asasebenzisana netingoni letehlukene konke ukhombe ukuthi kuyathelelana noma khamba kahle.
His Majesty King Eswatini III says Eswatini supports the appointment of Zambia President Hakainde Hichilema as the regional cholera champion to spearhead the fight against cholera in the region. The Ingonyama has said this during a virtual extraordinary SADC summit on cholera outbreak, where he was represented by His Excellency the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini. His Majesty King Eswatini III says Eswatini believes in Hichilema's leadership and experience amassed by his country in the fight against cholera. The Ingonyama says it was saddening to learn of a Liswati student in Zambia who contracted cholera and later passed on. His Majesty the King says Eswatini is grateful for the cooperation received from Zambia and South Africa during the repatriation of the deceased body. The Ngonyama also highlighted Eswatini's success in fighting the disease, stating that the kingdom recorded only 2 cases in 2023. His Majesty King Mswati III says the success was because of assistance received from international partners that include the World Health Organization as well as the Center for Disease Control. He added that although Eswatini has not recorded cases of cholera this year, the kingdom remains at risk and therefore they support a regional approach to fighting the disease. Moving right along, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thuli Lada, and the Minister of Education and Training, the Honorable Owen Nxumalo, have paid a visit to the people of Nkilongo Ingundla, where they promised to build a high school and a primary school after the members of the community raised issues about the challenges pupils face as they have to wake up as early as 1 a.m. and prepare for school due to the lack of school in the community.
Most of the Maswati raised their concerns during the Sibaya, and their majesties gave a mandate to the cabinet ministers to take those concerns and rush to deal with them with immediate effect. Hence, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thulisile Dladla, in collaboration with the Minister of Education, Owen Nxumalo, assured the Nkilongo constituency that they will build them a school, more so because kids in the area have to travel a far distance just to access prime education.
Kuthata lokuthi umhlonishwa wayitolo nemhlonishwa namuhla njengaloku ashithi ipolitiki kuyaliwa vele kupolitiki ukuze ukhone ukuthi uhlale kulezi uma onguyeyeye nje awuphumelele so bona basekhaqa uthi umhlonishwa ngigcine la thatha ke mhlonishwa uyathatha ngembala umhlonishwa sitaba khona sikolwa futhi bayati nabo ema officials ethu lesisebenza nawo kude ukuthi angeke sikhone kunanaku lokusivimbile sithi akusisebenzi ke thina lokho uyakuchilita lokuvimbile ushona embili impela so bona nje bayati ukuthi batabo sibikela ukuthi sebakuphi kenyalo size sikolwa kulomnyaka lotako sicale.
Petros Sibanze, who is the Member of Parliament of the Nkilongo constituency, mentioned that it is not a good thing for young kids to travel a long distance just to access prime education. Hence, the need of a school in the constituency is of high demand.
Kubhlungu la kusibana basuka le ka grade 1 bayile khashane bafika emini le bafika esikoleni balale number 2 bafika balambile kuthi labakuvaka esikolweni sebayajika futhi bawufika ebusuku ekhaya abatadishi ke bafika badzibiwe kuthi labataka kona shothi ifuture yakhona vele ayibi kahle hle mase bakhula bese bavilapha vele abantu bayo esikolweni ngenxa ukuthi simo asikahle kulendzawo.
Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Pobuhle Dlamini at Nkilongo.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has set aside an amount of 4 million malangeni to be used in the reconstruction of a new Ngundla building. This was said by the Minister of Ngundla Development and Administration, Honorable Skumbuzo Dlamini, during his tour of the damaged Ngundla structure. Ngundla is one of the Ngundlas that were damaged during the 2021 unrest in the country.
Ulmende uvela committed ukuthi utivuze Ngundla sokucalile leting 4 dato nje sedivele diphelile besihlole evini eliphelile le nyalo.
Government has already started the reconstruction of Ngundla buildings. We have completed 4 of them currently, and Ngombisi is one of those to be rebuilt in the financial year beginning in April. The budget for this one is about 4 million malangeni, which is a setback for government, but there is nothing we can do as government's priority is to improve the lives of the Maswati.
The Ngombisi constituency headman Mliba Mabuza explains about the difficulties faced by the public due to the destruction of the Ngundla building.
Kwasi makulimala lesakhiwo kwalimala into letinengi la njengetitembu tenkundla talimalela la ngekhasi nyalo asithatha itholi titembu sekufuna ukuthi thambe jogqo.
When this building was burnt down, a lot of documents were lost, including stamps, which then meant that the public should travel to other government offices in Mangayane and further away to seek services. We are no longer able to hold community meetings to deliberate on developmental programs.
The Minister of Tingundla, Honorable Skhumbuzo Dlamini, further advised the Maswati to be the first line of defense when they see elements that might destroy government structures, including Tingundla buildings, as this has a negative bearing on the country's drive to centralize government services. Reporting, I'm Mbongwa Dube with Vumingo Sinzinisa in Mangayane.
The Minister of Education and Training, Owen Nxumalo, has heeded to the call of the public to convert a public building, which was once a vocational center, into a high school to accommodate learners from Mbava Primary who travel long distances when they transition to high school.
The Minister of Education and Training, Owen Nxumalo, has gathered that when scholars from Mbava Primary School transition from primary to high school, they travel a distance more than 15 kilometers. On a different note, the minister has said that the voice of head teachers should now have a strong command regarding the promotion of teachers.
High school bahamba baya eNgwavuma vele silitiko sitafuna simendele form 1 simendele form 2 vele sisakhe lesikolo vele sichubeke baningi mancane kakhulu ama high school bengitanda nabo nje ama micro project nalabo baka planning sithe nabo batotubonela nabo lokusho sivele le high school iyazingeka lapho utafuna vele silitiko sisakhe lesikolo already vele sebakhona baka form 1 utafuna sisakhe bafunze baka form 1 sakhe nalaka form 2.
The Member of Parliament for Sigwe constituency, David Nkampalala, has highlighted some of the challenges faced by schools in the constituency.
Kuta emakhaya la njengalena nemigwaqo ilukhuni kangaka thina siyabuka lokuthi nembala lokwashiwa ingwenyama esibayeni hulumende ukubambe ngetandla totimbili kuphuma aye kubantu sengibuya ke kafishane tingcinamba sekukhulunyiwe kunetikolo tiyanetha kunemaklasi lapha kude khona kunabo headmaster labasherisha nabo tishela lesethemba ukuthi njengoba asabonile kuhulumende kukhona lokutawuvela siyathi kubita imali kodwa bese ngakujabulela ukuthi minister lenhlupheko layibonela ingcenye yakhona i7.
On this fact-finding mission, the Minister of Education visited schools namely Mkhava High School, Eswatini Primary School, Mbava Primary School, among others. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Thando Dluli. Sigwe.
Eswatini formed part of the world in commemorating the Wetlands Day under the theme Wetlands and Human Well-being. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs emphasized the importance of wetlands as they are one of the country's water sources. The minister mentioned that in a press briefing with different stakeholders in the ministry's offices on Friday evening.
The Wetlands Day is commemorated every year on the 2nd of February worldwide, which is part of the United Nations mandate to encourage countries to protect and reserve wetlands. The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Honorable Jane Simelane, has urged constituencies and communities in the kingdom not to destroy wetlands because there are animals that feed off these lands, and we as humans can use these lands as water sources.
Today marks a day where we remind communities and Emaswati at large on the importance of wetlands in the country, because we all associate with wetlands. Women go to wetlands to fetch, noma to cut ingoboza, likhwane, and so many other things. The ministry in
and then when
2024 budget.
Wetlands in Shiselweni, Mshiselweni 1 Ingundla, Mkiweni, Mahlangacha, just to name a few.
The minister concluded by mentioning that the celebration of this day will be on a date that will be announced. Reporting for Eswatini TV, Phoguhle Dlamini in Babane.
The Municipal Council of Mbabane has met with different stakeholders in the education sector, including the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, public and private tertiaries, with an intention to find solutions in the issue of students who are lying idly and not admitted in tertiaries in the country. The city's Economic Development Officer, Winnie Lamini, says as the council, they are worried by the number of youth that are not in tertiaries. She says this meeting will help the Municipal Council of Mbabane in pushing for policies that will resolve this issue.
Umcabango ke sokufanele ukuthi ube khona kithi sine lesiniketwe leyo responsibility ukuthi ngimaphi ama interventions lesingawacabanga kuze ukuthi elekelelo lamaswati ngoba nakade luphahla angeke abe bantu ngoba umuntu wakhiwa ngaphansi kweluphahla. So kufanele ukuthi bese siyacikelela lokuthi ku-socializeka kwebantu. I'm always particular about leyo nto leyo ye-socialization of the humankind. Ngoba umuntu nangabe kusho angakatholi proper socialization, ungaletha lamanye onke ama-interventions angeke amside lo muntu. Ngakhona into ekufanele ihlanyeleke lo muntu asekhaya. But the concept and essence of likhaya is gradually, fading away. And lento yenda ukuthi bantu bangagcine bangasi lendlela lesibati ngayo.
The Minister of Education, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, says the government will do everything within her means to improve the country's education by ensuring that schools operate under conducive conditions for teachers to execute their calling of imparting knowledge to pupils. The minister said this during his visit to 7 schools under the Lukongolweni Ngundla, where he was accompanied by the Ministry of Education's officials and the Lukongolweni Ngundla Council. The schools told by the Honorable Minister include School for the Deaf, Primary and High School, Steg Nazarene Primary and High School.
Head teachers of the schools visited by the Honorable Minister were given an opportunity to articulate problems encountered by their schools as well as successes.
I was asked to declare the teachers that needed post numbers, and I did just that. To my surprise, the posts were taken away from us and we are receiving pay slips for people we don't know.
On the issue of food, we have been promised by the ministry that it will be delivered soon, as they have already started with other schools.
Out of the 21 teachers we have at the school, only 1 is housed and the rest are renting houses as far as Manzini.
The Honorable Minister then responded to the head teachers.
Singulmende asisho ukuthi a high school top up kunjanjani.
As government, we are not against top-ups, especially when parents and the school have already agreed on it. What we don't want to see is an expansion of overseas just because they cannot afford top-up fees.
The Honorable Minister further says after the completion of the school's visitation exercise by Cabinet, a report will be compiled which will enable government to list the issues that need to be addressed according to priority. Reporting, Mbongwa Dube in Sitegi.
The forestry industry plays a pivotal role in reducing unemployment rate in the country, and they also help improve the country's economy. This was said by the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Jane Simelane, where she also encouraged the Eswatini to conserve nature.
Minister of Tourism, Honorable Jane Simelane, in a press briefing with different stakeholders and media houses, has encouraged forestry companies to be wary of the people in the communities in forging ways to end deforestation.
It is our great honor to thank the companies for partnership that they have with the government and neighboring communities, which makes it easier for you to address problems that you encounter in communities, especially on the issues of wildfires. would like to encourage companies to work with government to improve the performance of sectors and the economy of the country. Also urge the companies to continue supporting government programs aimed at uplifting the lives of eMaswati whilst addressing the challenges posed by climate change.
Madiba Dlamini, who is the operations manager at Montigny, also applauded the relationship they have between the different communities in the country.
Siyakhuthata ke lobudlelwane bethu nalobo makhelwane bethu kubekisa nje kuleti inkampani esebenta kuto siyabavumela ukuthi abangene bakhethe imphepho boshubaba tinkakha makhelwane wethu naye aphile aliswati ngekuthi inkampani yeda kuye.
Simelane concluded by urging different companies in the country to find ways of dealing with the unemployment rate in the country. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Poguhle Dlamini, pictures by Fabrice Mswanera in Mbabane.
The Municipal Council of Mbabane has met with different stakeholders in the education sector, including the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, public and private tertiaries, with an intention to find solutions in the issue of students who are lying idle or not admitted in tertiaries in the country. Now, the City Economic Development Officer, Winnie Dlamini, says as the council, they are worried by the number of youth that are not in tertiaries. She says this meeting will help the Municipal Council of Mbabane in pushing for policies that will resolve this issue. We have a report.
You mentioned the stakeholder la, education. We want to influence policy and tease some thoughts of doing things differently from the institutions. Higher levels. The universities themselves can customize the way they are doing things, friendly, improve the access to education. The ultimate outcome is we want to improve access to education and employment. So ababe asibe relevant with the changing times and with the needs of the market for the children to be employed and avoid being idle and nabubat. Forgodele nje impilo as young people. This is an outcome of umhlangano lo wabanjwa last year, whereby we deliberate on issues that affect or langa contributor in eliminating unemployment labakhona kangwane lesibonako for both our graduates and for the out-of-school youth. As council, we are worried about the number of young people who remain idle bangakhona ukuthola imisebenzi. So sisiteke namuhla sicela sesihlangane sitobona lokuthi vele ibese ilahleka kuphi indzaba
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education and Training Tertiary Senior Inspector Temekile Dlamini had this to say about the meeting with the education stakeholders.
They are saying most of the qualifications that we know today will become obsolete. Hence, we need to be Industry 4.0 compliant as a country, because we're not producing our students just for, right now the focus is to ensure we produce students that can start their own businesses, improve the startups so that we have more industries to ensure that we deliver on our industrialization policy dreams as a nation. And also have people that, because globalization is here, it's a reality. A person can operate a company here that offers products for the world.
The Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force Communications Officer Lieutenant Tengetile Khumalo says officers stationed at Mshololo borderline intercepted 2 South African registered cars that were being smuggled into the country. Khumalo explains.
Members of the Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force in the early hours of today controlled a suspected stolen vehicle at Mshololo operational area in the Shiselweni region that was smuggled into the country. The vehicle, a Toyota Fortuna make, silver grey in color, was closely followed by a white Toyota GD6. On patrol, our troops spotted the Fortuna and controlled it while the suspects ran for their lives and joined their counterparts in the GD6, which was right behind them. Even though our troops fired shots at the runaway GD6, it was unfortunately a dead end as it sped off in a very high speed. And also, due to the fact that it was still at dawn, the GD6 number plates could not be recorded by our troops. Now both vehicles have South African registration numbers. And on very close inspection, our troops discovered that the Toyota Fortuner displayed false registration numbers in JPS 241L, whereas its real registration numbers are JC50HVGP. The Army commends its servicemen for working tirelessly in ensuring the curbing of all crimes at all our borderlines. As just last week, yet another Fortuner of the same color was controlled at Dwalile area. I'm Tengitile Khumalo, the Army spokesperson.
Right now, we take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we shift gears now into the world of business, where we'll take a look at business indicators to give us a sense of how our markets fared today in a financial report.
And then when
2024 budget.
Babu Petama January blues.
Back to single ply.
We need to tighten our belts.
Your stomach is already doing that.
Swipe your new reward card and stand to win instant free shopping with Spar. Get Spar Long Life Milk 6-pack for $102.99. 400-gram Yum Yum Peanut Butter, $29.99. 1 kg Stork Medium Fat Spread Tub, just $39.99. 700 ml All Gold Tomato Sauce for $29.99. Or 410-gram Koo Baked Beans in Tomato Sauce. Buy 2 for 28 emalangeni.
And that's why we shop at Spar.
It can be.
Welcome back, and now in the world of sports, Eswatini Athletics Association Public Relations Officer Victor Dlamini says no athlete who missed the All Africa Games qualifiers will be given a chance to partake in the Games in Ghana in March this year. Dlamini says the selection of the athletes will be based on the few athletes who partake or took part in the qualifiers in the last weekends at Mavuso Sports Center in Manzini.
Following the recent All-Africa Games qualifiers under athletics, where the turn-up in terms of clubs was not a positive one, as only 5 clubs took part of the qualifiers during the second day of the qualifiers, while on the first day only 2 teams appeared. Eswatini Athletic Association has a clear message from all athletes in the country.
Sesicedzile ngalama qualifiers. Besine first qualifier, ne second qualifier.
Victor Dlamini, who speaks on behalf of the association, says only those who took part of the qualifiers will be considered for the selection. Dlamini says there will be no favors, as the selection will be based on athletes who took part of the recent qualifiers.
Noma ngabe bebancane laba labayile laba qualifiers vele sitawukhetha from bona.
The All Africa Games will be held in Ghana from the 8th to the 23rd March this year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Mbabane.
Well, with those sports news, we hit the home stretch of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our top stories tonight. The Prime Minister says government has a plan to ensure that Eswatini continues to have enough electricity to attract investors beyond 2025 when the Eskom contract expires. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Education paid a visit to the people of Ngilongo Inkundla, where they promised to build a high school and a primary school. Eswatini formed part of the world in commemorating the Wetlands Day under the theme Wetlands and Human Well-being. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini. That's how we come to the conclusion of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. We shall now cross over to the weather center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.